Welcome to MX SportsCenter for 2011 at the 30th Annual Red Bull AMA Amateur National Motocross Championships in Loretta Lynn Ranch. Jason Wygant joined by Wes Kane here, Kevin Kelly.
Thank you.
Sorry, Wes Kane helps us in the regular announcers tower. Big new field for the event with Red Bull coming on board. We are in the Amsoil Arena, and real cool, Red Bull had James Stewart. He's just walking backstage now. He's signed autographs for about an hour. And we had a seminar where the fans were able to ask James questions. Wide open, anything goes.
Yeah, it was an open forum. You had the ability to write questions earlier in the day, submit them. You asked those questions. I went out in the crowd, asked the tough questions. He gave the tough answers.
Yeah, and the question that everybody wants to know was asked. What did they ask him?
Are you going to ride motocross next year? He goes, if I have to do it out of my own box fan, you'll see me there in 2012.
All right, so a little breaking story right here on MX SportsCenter. Let's talk about the racing at Loretta's. Same thing as always for the most part, but a few new classes being thrown into the mix, a youth beginner type class, and just trying to find ways to kind of stimulate the economics of the sport. And pretty cool because we've seen the evolution over 30 years. This has gotten a lot more serious than it used to be.
Yeah, it is a lot more serious, and having Red Bull here elevates it once again whenever you can go watch it from this energy station, this massive biodome it's got its own atmosphere and it's air conditioned, which is unheard of at the ranch. It's just a great place to watch the race from, and it's exclusive to the riders and their families.
Right, so if you haven't been here in a few years, you owe it to yourself to come back and see all the changes that have happened via the ranch and via the folks at Red Bull coming in and pushing this event. And you want to check out the racing, but we're going to give you a shortcut to that with some highlights. Let's go racing in the 450A class, which is the highly anticipated debut this weekend of the number 91 of Justin Bogle, considered to be the man to beat in the A classes, and already has a factory ride lined up for Unadilla in a few weeks. He would get out front early with a whole shot, but he would have some company. The 91 soon shadowed by the number 15 of Gavin Fate. Here's the rest of the pack battling through. Bad start for the 44 of Jacob Hayes. Justin Starling trying to come through traffic with him, and not pictured at all is Jesse Nelson, who had trouble on lap 1 and was way back. Here's Fate in the 15. He would actually make up ground on Bogle, and check out this battle. Bogle was under pressure nearly the entire moto, and as they got on the lap traffic, that allowed Fate to get even closer. So the race is on here for the number 1 spot, and they were far out in front of everyone else. Riders like Hayes trying to overcome bad starts. They would have no shot at catching these two Honda riders, but look at the kind of heat that Fate was applying to Bogle. Then Bogle finally able to wiggle away just a bit, open it up in 3 or 4 seconds, and then Fate started to have some problems. Not sure if that was equipment problems or body problems. Just said at the end of the race, it was a bad moto for me. And that would allow the 44 of Hayes to overtake him for second. That'll bump Faith back to the number 3 spot, still putting him in good position to win the championship. Starling would end up in 4th, Joey Peters in 5th, and Bogle would end up winning this one from pole shot with checkered flag. As for Nelson, a tough break for the Honda man. He would come home 6th. He's going to need some luck the next couple motos to get back in championship contention, and it's going to be difficult against Bogle. There are your results from 450A Moto 1. From 450A, we go to 450B stock. Even though it's a stock class in the B, it ranks some of the top riders decided to race in this one, including the 16 of Cole Thompson, who got the lead, and the 44 of Jeremy Martin, who was in second early. Great battle for third early on. 97 of Jason Ostildo there, along with the 50 and the 49. That's Colby Mullins and Judson Wisdom. Unfortunately, those two riders, Wisdom and Mullins, would have some troubles. They would go back a little bit toward the back of the top 10. But the majority of this race here had 2 battles to watch. You had Thompson and Martin out front, and then you had Kyle Wolak trying to roll up on Jason Ostillo to take over third. There's Thompson. Had a nice lead early by virtue of the good start, but in the second half of this race, the 44 Martin started to put some heat on. Here's where the gap was toward the beginning of the moto. You can see Martin's got a lot of ground to make up, but he would make that ground up. Meanwhile, the number 97, Ostillo, trying to hold on to the 3rd place spot, but the 99 of Kyle Wolak would not let it happen. He wanted a piece of hardware, some moto medals. He would eventually climb to 3rd. There's Thompson. His lead over Martin is a little bit less than it was before, but once they got in the lap traffic, Martin was able to make up a lot of ground. Check it out here on the last lap with 44 Martin putting serious pressure on while Thompson tries to thread the needle. Only a few turns to go. Watch, Martin's going to get all kinds of crazy to try to keep the heat on Thompson. Even goes off the track, grabs a handful of throttle, doing what he can do to get by those lappers, but he cannot get by Thompson, who takes the moto win. He's definitely happy with that one. Martin will be back in the next set of motos to try to battle him for a win, and Wolak holds on for 3rd. Let's get some mini bike racing in here at the 85 12-14 stock class. Looks like the 38 Suzuki of Jacob Edison is going to grab the whole shot, but sneaking through on the inside is the number 78 KTM of Braxton Prieto, and he takes off early. Justin Hoeft was behind him in second on the Yamaha, trying to keep the heat on, but Prieto was setting a blistering pace in the early moments of this. There's Hoeft on the blue machine, trying to keep him honest. But it wouldn't last. Prieto was setting a blistering pace, like we said, and eventually started to open it up. So it's all looking good for Braxton. He's got a $100 whole shot award from motorcyclesuperstore.com. He's got a nice big lead, and then he's headed to the 10 Commandments, and then he hits a jump with his front wheel and goes down. So that would change it up dramatically. He would get up eventually in the number 4 spot, then run into more problems by the time this moto was over. He was a non-factor in the results, finishing out in 38, a heartbreaker for him. Inheriting the lead, the 29 of Justin Hoeft. Tristan Biller on the Suzuki, trying to keep him honest in the number 2 spot. Here's Hoeft on the 29. And there is his closest pursuer, the 35 of Miller. 2 California kids out front. There's a lap rider in between them. There is Miller in third. And the 21 of Austin Forkner, who got a moto win earlier in the day, was running third for most of this one. Forkner would succumb to some troubles at the end, and that would allow Blake Green, who wasn't even on the radar screen for most of the moto, to take over third. But there was no stopping Justin Hoeft, who got himself a gold medal for that moto win. Good job by Green to get by Forkner late and salvage some points. Let's go racing 65 7-11 modified. It is on right now. Pole shot's going to go to Brandon Hernandez out of California, but he would have trouble early and end up with a DNF. The battle would soon boil down to these two, the 42 of Garrett Marchbanks out of Utah and the number 11 from San Antonio, Texas. He will not forget the Alamo, and he will not let Garrett Marchbanks off the hook. That's Gabriel Shariola. There he is in the 11, who would get the lead from Marchbanks for a brief moment, and then Marchbanks would march back into the number 1 spot. Look at how rough this track is for these 65s. These two would pull away from the field. They really pushed the pace up front. Look at the lead they had built up. Third place rider, working his way through traffic, Connor Mullinex out of Santee, California. Good job by Mullinex. He's going to pull down a bronze medal for a third in this moto. Also, you got the 25 of David Milana out of New York in the number 4 spot, and that's the number 4 of Jake Bodwin from Massachusetts. A couple other riders coming through there. There's the 88 of Mullinex still in third. Late in the race, your leader, Marchbanks, would march away from Gabriel Shariola and pull a nice lead. Here comes Gabriel in the number 2 spot. Had the lead momentarily, wasn't quite able to maintain that pace all the way to the end. And that means that Garrett Marchbanks is going to take the win. Coming out of Colville, Utah, and he's mining for a gold moto medal after this one. That's the white flag. Checkers are out. Garrett Marchbanks takes the win. Here are your results in 65 7-11 mod. These classes are often unpredictable, so stay tuned. All right, that's just a sampling of the motos from today at Loretta's, but a couple other big hitters we will mention. First, Adam Cincerulo, who had everything go wrong for him last year and came up titleless. Going to try to reverse that this year. Yeah, Adam's here to win, and he's already done that twice today, so Adam is definitely setting the pace there in that Super Mini class. He's exclusive to the Super Mini class this year. 2 whole shots, 2 moto wins for Cincerulo. Now, his buddy, Zach Freeberger's had even worse luck than Cincerulo. He hasn't even been here in a couple of years. No, hadn't been here in 2 years and almost missed it this year. Broke his leg, had to come to the last area qualifier and barely skated in here. Dominated, coming outside the top 10 to take the moto win in that 458 class. All right, so that's a good run for him. And the Kawasaki's had more good luck in the vet classes. It's a Good Times National here for sure. I think they swept every moto, top 3 podiums in all the vet classes, even the plus 100 class. Yeah, won that one. Barry Higgins. 90 years old, really on a Cali. Keith Johnson is now in the 40-plus class, so look out. Feel sorry for all those guys. So Keith Johnson could probably dice for the win in the plus 25 class, giving up 15 years of those guys. Well, we know he could because he was mixing up with Clark Stiles in the 35-plus. Stiles just beat him. Stiles also won the 25-plus, 2 moto wins for him. So Kawasaki's got the vet classes dialed. Yeah, they are on lockdown. Even without some of their hired guns, Treadwell hurt, Earl May hurt. They're still so deep with talent, 3, 4, 5 guys that can win a race. And one other big prospect we want to mention is Joey Savaggi. The dog days of summer, have caught up to him in a big way. Yeah, first moto he goes out there, pulls off to the side of the track, done. Yeah, big crash. A couple hours later, jumps the gate, docked a lap, done. So in 2 races, 2 and out. Yeah, he actually got the whole shot, well, because he jumped the gate on accident and then won the moto, had the fastest lap times, but you jump the gate, you get penalized. So he had a DNF and I think a 1-lap penalty, so scratch Savaggi from any championship threat. But that's the way it goes here. Loretta's, man, it's unpredictable. Yeah, Loretta's giveth and it taketh, and it took from Savaggi, took from Adam last year, giving it back to him this year. And we're going to take a break for 24 hours, and then we'll come back with another episode of MX SportsCenter. Check us out on the web, and don't forget to go to mxsports.com for your link to live timing and scoring so you can check out every single moto and pull for your fave. I'm pulling for you. You're my fave, man. That's why I keep you
Thanks,
here.
man. That's why they call me Larry Myers.
Really? All right. Well, it's good to work under a veteran like you. Thanks for joining us on day one. We've got a whole lot more ahead of us, whether we like it or not. But we know you do. So thanks for tuning in.